All right. This evening, we are going to be talking to a local to me creator, Chris Gregory. Um, I've been, we were just talking. I've been stalking him on Instagram and watching the videos where he would, you know, broadcast his drawing, and it was just so refreshing to, watch and see somebody's talented do something. So, let's bring him in and let's find out more about him and what he's working on. Hi, how's it
Hey,
going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there as as
Yeah,
best can be these days.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems like
So
you're on the same schedule as me. Like, get the kids to bed, and then like you can do stuff that you want to do.
yeah, yeah, that's that's usually how it goes because anytime I
Mm.
open the laptop, my son asks if I'm in a meeting.
Oh yeah,
So, but
that's good.
before we get started, do you I like to just kind of see how people got into comics and
Mhm.
if you remember the first one that you read and what kind of hooked you.
The what hooked me into comics was the X-Men. It was the so I was born in '83, so it was the early '90s X-Men animated series. I totally fell in love with that series. I was into like comic book stuff before that. I loved the Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. But it was the watching that X-Men animated series was I was just like I need more of this,
Mhm.
whatever that was. Just I mean the I'm sure you've seen it, like that opening sequence is just awesome. And then just the whole like I understood superheroes fighting crime, but then the X-Men was just like this whole other thing where like they weren't fighting crime. They were a group and they all had their own motivations, and some of them were burdened by their mutant powers and everything. I just thought it was awesome. So that's what it was. It was the first thing I got into as far as actually reading comics was all X-Men.
Oh, and when did you start drawing? I mean, probably at a young age, and I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Probably shortly after that, early '90s. I don't know how old I was. Not, I mean, I always drew. All kids draw. Um, I think what really got me into drawing is I remember I got a book at I was at Crossgates Mall with my mom, and there used to be a Discovery Channel store there, and I don't know if you remember that, but it was like all science stuff
mhm.
and weird like um, I don't know. It was a strange store, but anyway, it had some books there, and there was a book called it was like How to Draw Marvel Superheroes. It's not there's a well known How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by Stan Lee and John Buscema. It wasn't that one. It was a different one. It was a spiral bound book.
Mhm.
But anyway, my mom bought me that because I saw that. I was really into the X-Men and stuff, and it had Spider-Man on the cover, and I was like, oh, cool, I can learn how to draw. So my mom bought me that. And like over one summer, I went through that book, and that was like the first time. I wasn't a good at drawing after that, but that was the first time I took the like a little bit of a jump from being like a little kid drawing to kind of like understanding some of the basics. And then just from there, it just kind of kept going.
So, what writers kind of influence your style? Because I think one of the things that's kind of drew me to your work was you have a very neat, you know, clean style, and then you have a very, also have the very cartoony webtoon style. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's my favorite artist of all time is Bernie Wrightson. I think if you look at my artwork, you'll and Bernie Wrightson's work, you can kind of see that I'm always trying to copy him. Um, I like I said before, I'm '90s comics kid, so I'm very influenced by Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, the Mark Silvestri. But I also like some of like Jack Davis, like the earlier sort of EC Comics, Mad Magazine kind of guys too. So I think that's where the like cartooniness sort of comes in.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to bring up one of the first things I remember watching you sketch on Instagram, and I think one of the things that kind of again also drew me to your work is just following your process is kind of
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I I remember watching you work. I believe you were working on this one, and it was it's just really cool to kind of watch you first do the pencils and then go through and do the inks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm if you follow me on Instagram, you'll also know that I'm a big heavy metal fan. That was sort of I wanted to draw like a death metal band album artwork or something like that, and that's just kind of the idea I came up with.
So, what if I know that from looking at your Instagram, you've done like is it Hobo-Man, a comic, and then you're also working on is it a more of a web comic, heavy metal? What are you working on?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did a short, like it was a 5-page. I'm surprised you even know about that, Hobo-Man. It was just a short. It wasn't even 5 pages; it was 3 pages. It was just kind of an experimental. Let me get something done, kind of thing. So it was a good learning experience. I'm working on a comic, sort of slowly. I'm actually in the process of rewriting it now. It is
Mhm.
very heavy metal sort of inspired story. I did a few pages early this year, and then like everything else, my wife and I had our 4th child in February, so that kind of put a halt on things. And then with the COVID and all of that, just all my plans got kind of
Yeah.
thrown out the window, I think, like everybody else. So I'm
We
kind of
have one,
working
and
on
that's enough. So,
well, I was talking about this with my wife the other day. I think going from 0 to 1 is like the hardest part. Like once you have a few, it's just kind of like more noise and But yeah, so yeah. But
so
anyway, with the kids being home from school and everything, all
mhm.
my plans got kind of thrown out the window. So I'm working on rewriting a comic, and I hope that my plan is to kind of document the whole process along the way
Mhm.
on my Instagram and maybe some other social media. But I'm getting there slowly.
So, can you kind of give us the idea behind Truly Metal?
Yeah, so Truly Metal is a webtoon that I do. It's barely, but just on Instagram. Um, I right now I haven't done a few in a while because I've been working on some other stuff right now. But
Mhm.
the Truly Metal is really so. When I was younger, in my late teens and through most of my 20s, I sang in like death metal and hardcore bands, and I always just sort of joked around that it was like being in a cartoon, and so I had this idea for a cartoon strip of this loser heavy metal band for quite a while, and if you look at the ones that I have now, it was kind of weird. Like a lot of them are the main character Vincent is talking to his mother because he's like at home with his mom. I had a lot of ideas for like the band playing together and playing at bars and all these jokes, but I started working on it right when COVID hit, and I was like, well, people aren't going out to bars right now, people aren't doing that kind of stuff, so I ended up making different characters, like Vincent's mother, for instance. And so it's sort of morphed from what I originally wanted, but I think in a good way.
Now, how do you draw? Do you draw? Do you do pencil, paper, and then ink, or are you? I know that you have talked about shown briefly on the Instagram that you've moved to kind of the iPad stuff. Which do you prefer? Is there one that you like more than the other one, or?
I love traditional pencil, paper, ink on the paper. I did get an iPad maybe 6 months ago. It's great, but I think, but it's just maybe it's just me being old. I don't think there's something aesthetically pleasing to me about the traditional media, and it's just I find it more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? I forgot. But yeah, I don't have anything against the digital artists. I think it's great. It's just not my preference. And so
Mm-hmm.
even when I do those Truly Metal cartoons, I do on my iPad, but I still start them traditionally with pen on paper or pencil on paper anyway. I'll do a quick sketch on paper, and then I kind of I just take a picture of it really, and then blow it up on my iPad, and then I'll ink it sort of digitally. And it's a very
Mm-hmm.
quick way of doing things, and that's the main reason why I do it on there. It's just because it's quicker. But yeah, I love pen and ink.
I think this one that I just brought up was another one I saw you inking. Yeah, it's like very very therapeutic to watch. Just
Mm-hmm.
watch you work.
Yeah, I do those a lot. That's another cartoon series I did with a comedian named Levi Manis, who's out in Seattle, and I did quite a few of those for him. We're kind of on a little hiatus right now, but hopefully that'll be picking up sometime in the future as well.
Now, when you draw, I notice you like to listen to music and watch stuff. Is that to kind of help you to inspire you, or to just to let your mind run free, I guess?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, a lot of my inspiration for my artwork, as you're scrolling through, you see a lot of zombies and dead people and chopped up things. So it's pretty I love heavy metal, I love horror movies and stuff like that. And so that's kind of, I'm always listening to something, or I'm watching a slasher movie or something when I'm working. It's just kind of how I chill and relax too, at the end of the day. Like I said, I got 4 kids, so it's like all day it's like Thomas the Train Engine and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and then it's like, okay, go to bed, and now I'm gonna watch slashers in draw dead bodies. Crazy stuff.
Right now, my 4-year-old is into Despicable Me and Minions.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
It can be worse. My 2 oldest were really, really into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and thankfully, my third he's more into Thomas. I'm so glad, because
I'm
I'm
sorry.
so sick of Mickey. Yeah, Thomas isn't great, but I'm so sick of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
So, if you had the opportunity, is there a certain character that you would like, from either Marvel or DC, that you were like to work on? Because I saw in your sketches you did an awesome Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think your style lends itself to more of the horror genre, which
Mhm.
obviously you're into. But are there any characters that you would like to play around with, either drawing or
Yeah, actually, until you said that, I was thinking Spawn, but actually, Swamp Thing is a good one. I think you're right. Like, just something about drawing that organic stuff. I think my natural, I don't know, flow of my lines or something sort of lends itself to that. Um, but yeah, usually probably more dark horror stuff. Spawn is another, that's like sort of a childhood favorite of mine, of course. Um, I'm trying to think of it. No, nothing else is jumping to mind. I would say the X-Men because I love them, but I've tried drawing Wolverine so many times and he just does not work well for me. I don't know, something about the shape of his mask and everything. I'm never pleased with it.
Yeah. Now, are you participating in Inktober this year? I know that in the past years you have.
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing Inktober. I'm doing it rather than doing every day. Um, for anyone who doesn't know, Inktober is a drawing challenge where you make a full ink drawing every day for the month of October. Um, I really love it because I love pen and ink drawing, and it's October, so Halloween time, and of course I love horror and all of that. So I've been participating in the last few years. This year I kind of gave myself a little bit of a break, and I'm posting every other day instead
Hmm.
of every day, because last year I did every day, and I wasn't really happy with the quality of a lot of my drawings because I was just rushing to get them done so fast. Um, so I've been posting like every other day on Instagram, and I actually opened up an Etsy shop, and I'm selling some of the drawings that I did this year. So
Nice.
hopefully I'm selling some anyway.
Yeah. So, um, are you currently, reading anything that, is really catching your interest? Or do you have time to read? I know
Not
I
a
really
lot,
don't.
not much. I was when I drew that Swamp Thing. I was rereading the old Alan Moore Swamp Thing. The classic Swamp Thing run that he did. Um, I more recently I started reading American Vampire that Scott Snyder wrote, and Stephen King even wrote some parts of it. Just
Mhm.
it's, like a cool vampire thing. So I was reading that a little more recently. I haven't, past week or so, I haven't been reading much,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my more
Oh,
recent.
I just found the picture I was looking for, the swamp thing that we were talking about. Let me just share my screen.
Hmm.
Because I think, again, that was one that really jumped out at me when, I was kind of going through your work.
Yeah.
It's very detailed, and
Hmm.
it's very clean for a very unclean
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Well, Swamp Thing, that was really fun. I want to draw more Swamp Things because it's almost like like you can't make a bad line. It's just kind of even if you mess up, you can just kind of squiggle it in there, and it looks like it's supposed to be a drippy, leaf thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun drawing to do.
So how now do you broadcast over Instagram every time that you draw, or is it just, you do something, a couple of nights a week?
It's been pretty sporadically. I've been trying to. I used to have a fairly regular schedule, like Mondays and Wednesdays. Lately, it's just been whenever I feel like it. I've been kind of just drawing on the couch in front of the TV a lot more lately,
Hmm.
and when I just from being lazy. I've got my kids home all day. They're home from school and everything, so it's just my days have been long and tiring. Um, but yeah, that is something I want to, get back into. I think when I'm getting into November when I start, working on more comics and Inktober is done. I'll probably start streaming more. Yeah, because it's fun. It makes it a little more interesting when somebody pops up. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the past couple of times that I was watching you, it was just, it was late, so I was probably in bed watching, and it was just, again, it's soothing to watch
Yeah, good, good.
somebody, you know, ink. I don't know what it is about inking, but inking is very calming to me.
It is common. I mean, that's one of the things I love, just making one line after another. Some people find that very tedious. I really enjoy it. I just, listening to some music and just making one line and then another line and then another line. There's something, it's therapeutic somehow.
Well, where can people go to find your stuff if they're interested in finding, more about you?
Just Instagram is really my main thing right now. So it's just at Chris Gregory T. Um, and that's pretty much the main thing I'm doing right now. Hopefully, in the near future, I'll start expanding my social media presence a little more as I have more stuff. But yeah, it's just my Instagram.
any plans down the line? I don't know if this is being too presumptuous, like to maybe collect the Truly Metal webcomic, or I don't know. Again,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
not
know what you're
Russian,
saying. Yeah. I mean that's certainly the like idea to hopefully eventually. I got to build up a bit more of a. I got to do a lot more of them. Is really the answer, but yeah, I mean it's definitely um, um, some a plan down the road is to get sort of a collection or a book. That's what I would really like to have, is something physical.
Mhm.
I was looking into doing some of the local comic cons this year, but COVID kind of
How's that?
screwed that up.
How's that working?
Yeah, it's working great. Um, but yeah, that was kind of my plan. Was I wanted to build up some drawings for that, and have maybe some cartoon strips or something I could do just to kind of get my feet wet into that world. And but that's not going to happen for a while. So I change of plans.
Now, with being a father of kids, are you trying to get your kids into comic books? I mean, and if so, what are you using as the gateway drug?
Well, I haven't been successful yet. Um, I mean, most all of my kids are pretty young. My oldest is going to turn 8 on it's this Sunday.
Hmm.
Um, so they're all pretty young right now. I've tried getting. I mean, really, I've tried getting my older son like into Star Wars and stuff, and he likes it, but he doesn't. He just cares about Minecraft and Roblox at this point. Um, I do subscribe to Comixology, and sometimes like story time we read stories every night, and I'll pull it out and we'll go through. We'll find some like cartoon like Garfield
Hmm.
comics or Peanuts on there or something, and they like that. But yeah, they haven't found that burning passion for it yet. But
Yeah.
maybe I'll break them down.
Now, do you frequent any of the local comic establishments we have here in Albany? We have quite a few.
Yeah, not much. Not as much as I
Not
would
much.
like to. I pop into Earthworld every now and then. Um, but yeah, just get. I mean, well, especially this last year, I haven't been going really anywhere. But but yeah, not as much as I would like to. I've kind of switched more to reading digital comics just
Mhm.
because of the convenience of it. It's
No,
just I'm either at work or I got the kids, and then it's like bringing the kids to a comic shop isn't always a good idea.
yeah.
you know.
I know. I know. Also saw on your Instagram that you had a last year's advertisement for last year's Electric City Con. Did you get a chance to go to that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I brought my kids to that just as a fan, and I went around and talked to some of the different artists there, and I bought a few things. That was
Yeah.
fun.
I,
That
I
yeah, that
was
was. Go
I
ahead.
was I was part of the planning board for that.
Oh, where are you?
And unfortunately, even though they couldn't have had it this year anyway, they weren't going to have it this year because the lady who ran it moved to another job. So
Okay.
they didn't want to burden the person coming in with that right away.
I
But
see. Yeah.
no,
Well, hopefully they do it again because that was great. I had a great time there.
no, it is. I thought it was fun, and it was a great chance to get kids involved in the
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else that you wanted to mention, or did I? Did you want to mention something that I didn't ask you about, or?
No, I think you hit it all. Just yeah, follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting, artwork and
Mhm.
whatever stupid other things I'm doing, movies I'm watching, bands I'm listening to. You
Yeah.
know, I use my Instagram just to kind of like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and hey, let's chat about this horror movie that just came out too.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time this evening to talk to us, and if you ever have anything that you would like to talk about or promote, then you're more than welcome to come back. And
Oh, great.
maybe I'll if they ever have those things called conventions again, maybe we'll get to meet in person.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, man. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for wanting to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be looking for more of those Instagram videos of you drawing. So
Yeah, well, I mean, now I said it publicly, so now I have to do it. So
yeah.
that's it.
Oh, all right. Well, you and your family stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks. Take care.
All right. Bye.